What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are talking March Madness Final Four. Baseball is almost back, and there's a couple of spicy teams in the NBA making a run. Let's get it. Welcome back, spectators, to another episode. It is episode 129, and it is March 28th. It is a beautiful Monday, and we are here with our brand new spectator, Aiden. What's going on, big fella?
What's up, boys? How we doing today? How we feeling?
We're doing amazing. It's a pleasure having you. Welcome to the team. It's been a couple weeks, but this is your first on-air thing with us, so welcome.
Welcome.
Yeah. First little bit, I'm excited. I'm ready to get going. We got some fun stuff today.
Dude, we absolutely do. Also, I'll be remiss. Brooklyn, what's going on, baby?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Excited to roll into the playoffs here soon for NBA.
Yes.
March Madness. We got the Final Four creeping up this weekend. I see your Final Four hat, so I know Jew ready.
Yes, sir. This is the Final Four in Phoenix when the Ducks are out there.
Uh-huh.
There's a good story to this hat that'll be told another day, but it's a good time. And the Final Four is one of the most fun things in the sport and just in sports in general because it takes so much to get to the Final Four. It takes getting through Cinderellas and injuries and season-long battles of Lord knows what to get to this point. And it is not an easy journey. So we got four beautiful teams that are all pretty deserving to be here. What'd you guys think about the games leading up to it? The Sweet 16, Elite 8 games, anything crazy stick out to you guys?
Well, you had St. Peter's looking like they might have had something going.
Yeah.
And then they run into the bubble team, UNC, and they got smacked. Absolutely smacked. They took the shoes off of Cinderella, said go home, it's past your curfew, and that was it. And now we get a Duke North Carolina matchup in the Final Four, which I'm really hyped for. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, and before we talk too much about that Duke UNC one, because there's a lot to talk about with that.
Yeah.
A big shout out to St. Peter's. I mean, they had a pretty improbable run, maybe the most improbable ever. I mean, a 15 seed getting to the Elite 8, beating number 2, beating Purdue at number 3. This was truly like a Cinderella story. And for a team that came into this tournament in debt, their name is now out there. They got it on the map, and they were America's sweethearts for 2 weeks, and that it's kind of hard to do that.
From reports online, they're saying that admissions have already spiked, like admissions applications have already spiked over 300%.
Amazing. And that's what this tournament does. I mean, again, it happened with VCU, it happened with Wichita State, it happened with Florida Gulf Coast. Like, these teams, this is their opportunity to kind of make themselves a household name. And for the most part, if you're a sports fan, you're going to remember the name St. Peter's for a couple of years just because they did something that not a whole lot of teams do, and that's just defy every sense of logic in winning these games that they have no business winning.
Well, they put themselves on the map.
Yeah.
And it came out today that their head coach, Shaheen Holloway, is headed over to his alma mater in Seton Hall to go be their head coach.
Yeah, I did see that. So that's kind of sad, but it is a good way to depart. Hopefully he has some success over there at Seton Hall too. Usually when you see those coaches make the switch, it's never the cleanest transition. So hopefully best of luck for him and to all those guys. I know I'll be reaching out to some of them and trying to get them on an episode over here or something like that. Try and talk to the Peacocks themselves. That'll be really cool.
Of course.
Well, I just want to talk to Doug about how he got his mustache to be so elite.
This is true. And
I need to talk to Doug about not eating sandwiches.
Yeah, he's anti-sandwich.
He said anti-sandwich, said he had a bite of a chicken parm and that was it.
I want to know if
never had a sandwich again.
What's his thought? Does he consider a hot dog a sandwich?
Ooh,
you know, these are questions for the pod.
These are great
so Doug,
questions.
If you're out there, when we hit you up and you gotta do your research, get that question ready.
Well, also it's pretty cool because, like, you know, we have in social media, we have an obsession with like a quirked up white boy every couple of months. And, you know, it was Jack Harlow previous to this. And then obviously Joe Burrow kind of with the Joe Shiesty all season. He was our quirked up white boy for 2 weeks. It was kind of cool. It's fun. So we do need some insight on that. We'll reach out. Doug, we need you. But, you know, down goes the Cinderella, but it brings up the best rivalry in the sport of college basketball that has never played each other in March Madness. Duke, North Carolina are finally doing it. It is Coach K's last season, and it finally happens.
You talk about St. Peter's being a Cinderella season. Even though, you know, Duke is a 2 seed, that's still a Cinderella story in itself. We really had 3 going into the Elite Eight. We had St. Peter's, we had Miami, and then we had Duke with Coach K's last season. I mean, 3 different types of Cinderella stories, Certainly. But all Cinderella stories in their own way. And, you know, I can't lie and say I'm not pulling for Coach K. I want to see him go out on top, you know, Peyton Manning-esque, you know, win the Super Bowl or win the final and get out of there.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of story on this too, because UNC winds up beating Duke in the last game of the year at Coach K's last game at Cameron Indoor. So what better revenge for taking your last game at home than to bounce you from the Final Four and go on to the championship and potentially win that? There can't be a better feeling than doing that to your true bitter rival.
Absolutely, and UNC has been playing spoiler for a good part of this tournament, so they definitely are ready to do it again. Yeah, and they feel like they have a chip on their shoulder with being a bubble team. Everybody counting them out. They're playing hard, spunky basketball, and they want it. They want all the smoke. And they don't care. It's Coach K's last game.
You mentioned the bubble team thing too. If they don't beat Duke in that last home game, there's a chance they don't even get into the tournament.
Yeah.
And they've just been on such a good hot run the last half of the season, obviously spilling into the tournament. And that's kind of been an ACC deal in general. I mean, ACC was not good this year, like pretty objectively not great. It's a down year. Usually you got Syracuse and Louisville kind of balling out. NC State's usually a pretty good player. It was just Duke and UNC and then a little bit of Miami, like they snuck in too. But that was really the players. And now we have a really fun all ACC matchup in this Final Four. I mean, not all of them, but for that side. And kind of nice.
Yeah.
Anything else from this weekend's games that stood out for you guys?
Kansas Miami ended up just being barn burner. Well, didn't expect too much out of that. And then
that game was crazy too, because Kansas was not playing well.
Yeah.
And I don't remember this. I think it was 47-11. They outscored them in the second half. Like they came into the
47-15.
15, okay. They came in down a bunch and just absolutely turned it on. And if you watch the game or you're watching any highlights, the middle part of that second half was just Kansas running the fastest paced offense of all time. They were just up and down the court, constantly in transition. And it was like it was really demoralizing, honestly.
Kansas almost had 5 players in double-digit scoring.
Which crazy.
That's Kansas's game, though. If you've watched them at all this season outside of the tournament, we'll catch your ass in transition. We will catch you and make you pay because we are the more athletic team.
And they're the most athletic team in the country, and they kind of are every year. I mean, except for those odd years where Kentucky just gets every 5-star under the sun, which does happen. But Kentucky's always kind of built on athleticism. They're never a tremendous shooting team. They kind of figure it out where they got a guy or two. And for all the flack we give Kansas, right? We give them a lot of flack because every year it seems they get to the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight and they lose a game to a team that's really good and underrated. This year they took care of business and they played, you know, they got Miami in the Elite Eight game, which is probably their easiest matchup yet, but they took care of business, and Kansas is back in the Final Four, and I feel like it's been a while since we've been able to say that.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, if any of you guys listen to me and Gerard's preview episode, you know that I thought Villanova was a perfect team to make a deep run in this tournament. Because they're crazy efficient on offense. They shoot foul shots at like the best clip in the country. And their defense is just really, really stout. They kind of hold you and they make you run a half-court offense. So that's why that game is going to be kind of electric because Villanova holds transitions pretty well. So who's going to crack, the Kansas transition offense or the Villanova defense? And if it comes down to Villanova controlling this game, it might not be pretty for Kansas, honestly.
Losing more for Villanova is tough.
Yeah. I mean, losing anybody mid-tournament is like not good. Like changes game plans, changes like.
So that's really unfortunate for them going up against Kansas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and make a prediction.
Okay.
Duke, Kansas final.
Okay.
And Coach K is gonna take it home in the end. I think even though Kansas plays that fast style of basketball, you cannot put anything to the fact that Duke wants their coach to go out on top, and they're gonna be playing with that extra heart that no other team is gonna have.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. My hot take is either Duke or North Carolina wins the whole thing. Whoever comes out of that game wins it. Because I do feel like if North Carolina manages to pull up the upset over Duke and Coach K and spoils that, they're going to have light work against Kansas and Villanova, whoever comes out there.
Light work, huh? Kansas has been really good this year.
They have. And I don't mean they're going to stomp them by like 20.
Okay.
Don't get that twisted. But I mean, like they're going to come out, they're going to handle business.
So here's kind of how I look at it, right? Kansas is a pretty big team too. The reason UNC's been able to beat everybody is just their bigs are just outbigging. Like they're getting every board you can imagine. That's not going to happen against Kansas. It's just not. They're not getting those boards. They're not getting those second chances. They're not getting those like awkward post-ups that they've kind of been doing. And I don't know. I like UNC. I think they're a fun team. But I mean, you've been able to say this all tournament. Like, you could say this against their Baylor matchup, but they just don't stack up. I just don't think they stack up. These three teams are... The crazy thing here, right? This March Madness, you guys can probably agree with this, has been one of the most electric ones in a while with all the upsets and kind of everything that's happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here we are at the end with 4 blue bloods, teams that you expect to be here every single year. Like, if you took these 4, looked at it in 2015, and told me they were in the Final Four, I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Did it again in 2012? Yeah, probably. Because it's Villanova, Duke, Kansas, and UNC. I mean, these teams are known for basketball, and they do this, and they're successful at it. So, despite the madness, having blue bloods here is not as fun as we would hope, but it's as expected as we could anticipate.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right about the size, but when you got Baycott and Manic just going crazy outside too, and I mean, Baycott been getting some boards, so you would think maybe cut that in half, cool.
That's kind of what I was alluding to, is mostly him. Yeah. He's been their like Draymond type engine too.
But that boy Brady been shooting.
Brady's cool. Brady's nice.
I like Brady.
Brady's
and
nice.
I mean, that's going to be the difference maker right there, because you even saw in the Baylor game when he got out of there, things took a turn. So that's their heart right there. So he takes them as far as they're going to go. We see what happens with that.
I can agree with that. So you got the winner of the ACC, right, Burke? So Who is winning it? Who's taking it?
I'm going to go UNC with the really big bubble team come in with the chip on his shoulder, and you just ride it off into the sunset, spoiling Coach K, spoiling Baylor, spoiling UCLA, and just taking it all the way and winning a championship. And it will be hilarious if they got to go up against Villanova.
Yeah, that's true. You know, we didn't talk about that at all. We need a Villanova UNC matchup. I was going to say Kansas. I don't want it anymore. I want Villanova UNC, and I want Villanova to win in the exact same way. I want them to do it again.
We have to Gerard, I'm here for you. That's all I got to say. I'm here for you, brother. Because if that happens,
Yeah,
we're losing the Spectator for a little while.
Gerard's gonna be on watch for a couple weeks.
That boy putting in his leave of absence from us, and you're not gonna hear anything from my man. So stay strong. Keep your head up.
You see, that's why they brought me in. They knew this was coming at some point. They needed to fill in.
We had to fill in.
We're prepared.
Yeah,
we're prepared.
Preparation's key. Yeah, I actually really want to see that. I think it's gonna wind up being Kansas Duke is kind of what my gut feeling is saying, but I want Villanova UNC now. I forgot fully about that game. That's one of the best games I've ever seen of any sport in my life, and I want it again.
That's gonna be wild.
That is absolutely gonna be wild. And then Aiden, you said you got Duke winning, yeah?
Oh, you got to. I don't see. I'm a sucker for a good story, and yeah, cool. UNC would be a fun story. I can't bet against Duke right now and what they're doing.
Hey, I would love Duke to win it, Coach K to get it on his last year, go out on top. I would love that, but I don't want to see it.
But the 30 for 30 is going to be good regardless now. So it's
exactly.
Okay. It's going to be a great.
Just imagine how much better it would be when they win the whole.
It's okay. We don't need that.
Not every story needs a happy ending.
Not every story needs a happy ending. Just a good ending. Yeah. It could be okay.
If they lose on a buzzer beater, it happens. It happens.
So,
can't be mad.
So be it. Again.
No,
if they lose on a buzzer beater, UNC fans everywhere are like getting voodoo dolls of Villanova as a school and just torching them, throwing them into the river, stomping on them, driving them over, whatever they got to do. Like they need to get this voodoo magic out of their face. Because that'll be insane. As tough as it gets. But we're going to switch gears a little bit here because there's been a couple interesting things that have happened in the NBA world as of lately. And the first thing that I want to mention, and I want to hear you guys' opinions on this. As of last night, Devin Booker is now past Kawhi Leonard on the all-time scoring list.
Damn.
Which is so odd because...
That's crazy.
Come again?
Yeah, that's crazy. Let me say that one more time, right? Devin Booker is now past Kawhi Leonard on the all-time scoring list. Kawhi Leonard, who we kind of regard as like one of the greats in the game. I mean, last year coming into it, we thought he was maybe the best player in the world. Here we are. Devin Booker's fresh off a finals appearance, having a great season again. He has a 70-point game bag in him. And he's passing Kawhi? That's and Kawhi's still nuts. Active?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I mean, it's a testament to how few games Kawhi really plays. Like, if you've ever questioned Kawhi playing and, like, his health, it's not good. it's simply not good.
I kind of want to get a number on that real quick.
What, the total?
Of, like, both of their games played.
Oh, yeah, games played. They're probably pretty similar, I'd imagine, right? And
so let's see. Devin Booker in his 7 years?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, this is the 7th year. 473 games played.
Okay.
473.
Okay.
And then Kawhi... 576.
I wonder, because I saw this stat, the stat was sent to me, right?
Uh-huh.
I wonder if this is including playoffs. Probably not. It's probably regular season scoring. Because if it includes playoffs, there's no way Kawhi has more, right? Or Devin Booker has more. Because Kawhi's been to what? 7 playoffs? Maybe 8?
Something like that.
So there's no way that's total, or maybe it is. I don't even know.
Maybe it is. Huh. That's
but
wild,
crazy, right?
That's 100 more games.
Devin Booker is getting into that status, though, is the crazy thing. Like, for as much slander as I give Devin Booker, and nobody gives more slander to Devin Booker to me. I mean, I'm a proud admitter of that.
It hasn't always been warranted. I will say
no,
that.
It's never been warranted. It's never been warranted. I don't know why I don't like the guy. I just don't. I think it was because, you know why I didn't like him? Because he's dropping 70 in 30-point losses. That's why I didn't like him.
But that has nothing to do with him, though.
It has plenty, bro. If you're dropping 70, you lose by 30.
What is he not going to do?
No.
Is he not going to put up the 70 just because they're losing?
I'd rather you win than put up 70.
Of course.
But hold on, you can only do so much as one player. As one player, you can only do so much. He's putting his team in the best place to win. If the rest of his bozo team is not doing it, then there ain't nothing you can do about it. So why are you hating the guy for putting his best foot on the court?
You know why? You know why? Because Kobe was still in the league. And Kobe was always a guy who could be the one and make his team great. Besides the end years, but that was kind of towards the end of his career. He was 20 years in the league.
Yeah.
And I mean, this was like a different time. Like now you need like a full roster of stars to win. You didn't need that before. And I think that happened when he dropped 70. It was still transitioning into the full team builds. Like that was like the beginning of the Warriors dynasty. So like you could get away with having one superstar and like calling it a day. That Phoenix team was like objectively terrible, and I'll admit that. They're pretty darn bad. But I don't know. I just never had love for the guy. But hey, I've admitted it. I still don't take it back. I meant everything I've said in the past. But he's playing well.
Here's my thing. The Suns right now.
You can go ahead.
The Suns right now don't necessarily have a superstar team compared to some of the other super teams we see in the league. And look at what they're doing right now in the league itself. I mean, they're the number one seed.
That I don't agree with. They have a top 5 center in the league. They have Chris Paul, who's an MVP candidate, and then Devin Booker, who just passed Kawhi in points. Like, that's a pretty superstar team.
And what I was going to say, with Chris Paul out, Devin Booker and the rest of them,
they've been playing well.
They've held on to that number 1 seed, and they're 9-1 in their last 10. Chris Paul came back, 2 games ago?
The nice thing is the Suns like learned how to draft. They like stopped drafting Dragon Bender and then like started getting other guys like useful players, and that definitely helps. Like they have a really deep team, and that's obviously.
I think the player on them that we don't talk enough about is Cameron Thomas. I mean, that man has been the
Cam Johnson.
Huh? Is it Johnson?
Yeah, Johnson.
Johnson. Sorry, I was looking. I saw a name and Thompson was right underneath him. I read 2 at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
But I mean, that man is out here playing like a true. I mean, he filled in great for Chris Paul, and then now is going to be used in a very hybrid 6-man and also starting some role. But I think he is really what's held this team together more than anyone else.
And the crazy thing with Cam Thomas too, and here's one thing that I really don't like about the NBA. Did I say Thomas? Johnson, whatever. See, you got it stuck in me now. Right? He got drafted from UNC. I know who he is. Okay. He got drafted from UNC. And people were like, oh, that's a reach because he doesn't have like a crazy high potential. Because he was like 23 when he got drafted. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, he's kind of what he's gonna be. But bro, when they drafted him, he was a good player. He was already a good player. Who needs potential when you're already a good player? And that's like one thing I really don't like about the NBA. Like a lot of guys get drafted on like what they might be, as if your peak, your prime in the NBA isn't like at 27 starting. It's like if you're gonna draft somebody at 19, you want me to wait 8 years for them to get into their prime? It's a long time. It's a long time.
Yeah.
So I think obviously that's a good thing. Like you want to have promise, you want to be projected. But there should be something to be said about a guy who's good in the moment, especially when you're drafting. Like the Warriors are drafting players who are good now, and they're helping the team now. You know, feel me? And I mean, the Warriors have kind of been struggling as of late, which is crazy to think about. They started this season so hot, and they get Draymond back, and even that hasn't truly helped them. I mean, they're about a game and a half up on Dallas, which, if you guys know me, I hate this Dallas team. I think this Dallas team has first-round exit written all over them, but the Mavericks are a game and a half back at a 3 seed. And, like, I don't know. The West makes no sense to me because, honestly, Denver is going to wind up as a 6. and they're gonna win their series. I think whoever wins the bubble as a 7 seed might beat Memphis. Like, it's a free for all out there. I don't trust.
And the thing is with the Warriors, like, you go ahead and get Draymond back, but then you also lose Curry a little bit after that. Yeah. Clay's on and off. Iguodala's not playing, so it's like it's tough.
Wait,
it's tough to balance.
You're saying you don't want Iguodala to take a shot if the death beam is pointed right at Earth?
I do. That's what I'm saying. I need him on the court to do it. I need him on the court to do it.
What was
the graphic? Playing, we're tough.
Somebody posted a graphic like a month ago, and it was like most game winners of all time, and like Iguodala was like 5th or 6th, and Curry was like towards the bottom of like the big group, and I'm like, oh, maybe he was on to something. Maybe Max had the galaxy.
Iguodala is the most overrated Warriors player on that team.
You mean the one with the Finals MVP? That guy?
I still think he's overrated than what he did. He's not as good of a player as everyone thinks he is.
If Andre Iguodala isn't on those Warriors teams, they don't make it to the Finals.
Yeah.
Until they get KD. And if they don't make it to the Finals, they don't get KD. So without Andre Iguodala, and this is like a hot take, but without, I don't even believe that. I think any Warriors fan will agree with this. Without Andre Iguodala, the Warriors dynasty does not exist. They get way worse defensively. They lose a true playmaker. And they lose the veteran leadership that Steph and Draymond and Clay needed 7 years ago. They don't need it anymore. Well, 7 years ago now.
That's crazy to think about. That was 7 years ago.
It's crazy to think about. But
I feel like just yesterday we were talking about could this team go 82-0? Like,
yeah, and they've already rebuilt. Is like the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Or retooled is really the word. Like they happen to have an injury that they just kept them off the court for a full season, even though Steph was the most healthy man of all time. They're like, hey, let's get a top 3 draft pick real quick. You mind?
So the West is, I feel like the West is a pretty exciting top-heavy division, but the East is sort of all jumbled up into one hellhole of a what are you going to do in this division?
Well, like, here's what's crazy.
The East is fun. The East is fun.
Here's what's crazy. I don't know who ends up as the 1 seed because the Boston Celtics were 18-21 at one point, and now they're 47-28. They've just gone on an absolute tear, beating everybody and their mother. Jason Tatum's all of a sudden an MVP candidate, which is crazy. I don't know who's going to win that division. The Heat have been sputtering. I think that's the real issue. The Heat have lost 4 in a row, and the Celtics have won 6 in a row. Like, you'll catch up ground real quick.
Yeah.
Ever since Jimmy Butler and Spo got into it, they've been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, the turmoil between that's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. Because I think they'll get past that, but in the back of your mind, all that's just going to be rumbling.
And then how are we also not talking about the 3 seed right now with the best player in the NBA and Giannis in Milwaukee?
I didn't know LeBron. I didn't know LeBron played on Milwaukee. I didn't know that.
But the thing is, 1 through 4, like LeBron. They just about 1 game separates them. Just a couple of win percentage points separates 1 through 4. So it's like you got one team on a 6-game win streak, another on a 4-game losing streak. So that could flip either which way. And I mean, the Bulls aren't too far out. Don't think they're gonna get anywhere at the high seeds.
Even the Raptors are in that mix.
Yeah.
Even Cleveland's in that mix if we really want to go there.
Yeah, and the crazy part about that is...
I don't think there's enough time for Cleveland to get there because there is only about 2 weeks.
No, but the crazy part is Cleveland's on a losing streak right now too, but if Cleveland turns it around, win a couple games, the Raptors win a couple games, all of a sudden the Bulls are looking at a play-in, and you might have to look at the Bulls play the Nets in the play-in? You have 5 All-Stars on both of those teams, and it's a play-in?
And let's not even forget to mention Charlotte, the most mediocre NBA team this season. The definition of mediocre. But
they've turned it around. They won 2 games, so now they're not even for both conferences.
And let me tell you,
that stat was wild.
In crunch time, I don't know that I want to go against that Charlotte team because I think they've got a little something there. I mean,
they do.
You know Charlotte likes to show up in big games, so do you really want to face them?
Are you saying this just because LaMelo put up 33 and beat the bricks off Kyrie's home debut? Is that why you're saying this?
Maybe a little bit.
Because I would agree. That's the crazy thing. Kyrie, before the game, it's always good to be home. Gets smoked out the gym by the Hornets. What?
Here's my thing.
We're not here for the Nets slander, but like, what?
No, let me give you a hot take here.
Okay.
If Charlotte gets hot down this next 2-week stretch and going into the playoffs, they're a scary team to beat. And whoever's the 2 seed who they might end up going up against, if they get that one, or if they win the next one and going up against the 1 seed, if I'm a Miami, if I'm a Philly, I'm scared to face them.
I think the other teams are a little bit scarier. Like if Cleveland winds up being in there, a defense-heavy team like that is littered with injuries right now. But a defense-heavy team is pretty rough. Obviously, the Nets you don't really want to see. The Nets might be the best 8 seed of all time if they wind up getting out of the play-in, which, by the way, I don't trust the Nets in a 1-game series. I trust them in a long series. I don't trust them in a 1-game series.
Really?
No, I don't. That team just... They get so inconsistent. And I mean, you've seen more games of them than I have this year. But, like, the contributions from the other guys are so fickle. Like, there's games where you're getting buckets from Patty Mills and he's putting up 30. And then there's other games, he's the only guy giving you another set of double digits. Not that I think Atlanta's really any good, but...
I don't know. I feel like crunch time, 1 game, elimination. And, I mean, they got to play 2. So give them 2 games for the whole play-in tournament. KD, Kyrie will show up, the other guys. Whether you get, like, 2-3 other guys to really, really show up and then just sprinkle in a couple other things like Bruce Brown's, Seth Curry, and the rest of them. Like you make it happen. Like I don't think KD's gonna fold in a 1-game play.
It won't be him, and that's my issue. It won't be him.
They have to go through Atlanta too, which
that's what I'm saying.
Mind you, Atlanta's no slouch. They got Trae Young, they got Clint Capella out there. Yeah. That's another team who's just been riddled with injuries this season. Who, when it comes down to crunch time, what are they going to do?
Yeah, they're off a good season hangover too, certainly. But
it's what we talk about in any sport, but especially baseball. You know, the wild card game. Anyone can win. If you're talking about football, anyone can win on any given Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's really just a matter of which team decides to show up, and can the egos of Brooklyn overcome their differences to win a game. And I don't know if they can.
I don't think there's any ego issue, but
not anymore. But I think there's personality issues certainly, but not so.
That's
much
fine.
Ego.
Yeah, that's fine.
But again, we've kind of talked about this before, but I think it was different circumstances because we're like 2 weeks away from the end of the season. If Brooklyn doesn't win and make it out of the play-in, what happens? Like, you're not going to blow it up because you have another year, and these guys said they're willing to come back. But changes have to be made, right? Like, you can't just run it back.
I find it hard to believe they don't blow it up. I personally
no, because Kyrie literally yesterday said, like, as long as KD's here, I'm here. So, like, you got those two.
But Kyrie has said that about every team he's played.
Kyrie's never told the truth a day in his life. That's fair.
Right. And my other thing is Steve Nash may not be the answer as the head coach.
He never was.
That's where I was going to go to. You probably make a
head coach
coaching change. That's the first step. But you don't blow it up because, again, you had Kyrie for, let's say, 30% of the season. Because
it was half.
But he wasn't even playing the half in the beginning.
Was he not? I don't remember.
No. So you don't do that. And then KD's hurt for a while. You only go with Harden. So it's like, how do you really blow it up when you only had your core there for a little bit of the season? And you don't blow it up for that. You bank on it being healthy for the next season.
And that's the reason I bring it up is if they don't get out of the play-in, because now they are healthy. That's the only reason.
And it also gives Ben Simmons a whole offseason with this Brooklyn, training staff and doctoral staff that he can come back and potentially do something. I think that Ben Simmons can be a really good asset to this Brooklyn team if they can get him healthy and right.
Here's my concern. How did this trade go through?
Yeah. Because how did he pass the physical?
How did he pass the physical? Because, he gets over. He hasn't played in forever. So, I'm concerned about his physical to begin with. He's going through mental issues. I don't know if he's in the gym. And then we finally get him back, and he has a herniated disc. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
There's some collusion happening in the NBA, and we've done this for a while.
No, I'm not here for that. I'm just here for, like, what's going on with Ben.
Yeah.
Like, there's...
But again, how does the trade get okayed?
I don't know.
There's no way you're able to pass a physical if you had the herniated disc that early. There's no way you got that. Yeah, there's no way you got that after, because you're not even playing, you're not practicing, you're not doing anything.
I mean, I guess he might have been practicing. I don't know, but
he was sitting on his bum butt in Brooklyn just waiting.
That's a great word for Ben.
Unless he lifting something else while he off the court and he at home, I don't know, Ben. That's up to you. You do what you do, big fella. You do what you do.
Big fella.
But I mean,
certainly not Kylie Jenner. Kendall was Kendall.
I mean, I don't think he got a problem lifting her, so we're good.
Well, she's gone now.
She is.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't her.
Unless he getting a slump buster, that's up to him.
Not the streets of Brooklyn. That's the worst place to get the slump buster. You're going 0 for 30. You're hitting that. What was the Harden game a couple weeks ago? He went like 1 for 12 from 2. Then immediately went out to the club.
Yeah, that was terrible. So I mean, that's one thing. But I do want to talk about the Lakers real quick, because
as we tend to do here.
And the Lakers are scaring me more and more.
They're not going to
make
the play-in. They're not going to make the play-in.
That's where I'm getting at, because they got jumped by the Pelicans, and the Pelicans own the season series on them now.
Yep.
The rest of the Lakers' schedule, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up for you real quick.
I'm going to look along with you.
They have to go up against the Mavericks, the Jazz, the Pelicans again, the Nuggets, the Suns, the Warriors, the Thunder, and the Nuggets.
So every team they play against is a playoff team besides Oklahoma City?
That is not what you want to see when San Antonio is right behind you. That is not what you want to see.
Also, San Antonio has been playing really well recently.
They're on a 3-game win streak.
And
they're 6-4 in their last 10.
I love DeJounte Murray too. Just gotta throw that out there.
So,
DeJounte Murray's amazing.
The Lakers are in trouble.
Also,
really
this
big trouble.
This is a good thing to note too. Spurs play Houston, Memphis is a tough one, Portland twice, and then they have a tough one with Minnesota, Golden State, and Dallas. But they have 3 easy games versus the Lakers 1. So if they go 3-8 or whatever that number is, and the Lakers go 1 and whatever, Lakers are gone.
And the Spurs can't even be happy about Ja Morant potentially not even playing in that Memphis game, because the Grizzlies win without Ja.
Look, the Lakers are about to get... No, the Lakers are going to miss the playoffs, and they're about to slap harder than Chris Rock last night against Will Smith.
Woo!
Let's go. LeBron's going to come in after the last game of the season and just punch everybody.
Now the Lakers are a team who have to blow it up after this season.
Does LeBron stay in LA?
No.
Where does he go?
The only reason LeBron stays is because he doesn't want to move his kids. It's not because of the team. It's because he doesn't care about winning anymore. That would be the only reason. And that's fair. He's allowed to do that. He's allowed to.
Look, where okay, let's play this game then real quick. Where does LeBron go?
Cleveland.
Yeah.
If LeBron joins the Cavs next year, which they would gladly have him back, obviously, right? If he joins the Cavs next year, they are the best team in the NBA.
Or does he head down to South Beach?
No.
And go play with the younger squad down there?
No. The only reason why he ever went to Miami in the first place is because of Dwayne. Dwayne. And he was boys with Bosh. That is the only reason. He has no type of affiliation with Miami past that. Pat Riley and Spoelstra are not going to be the thing that brings him in. Cleveland's the only thing that makes sense, because you put him with Jared Allen, a healthy Colin Sexton, Garland, Mobley. I don't even need to,
hear this hot take out. That might be the best LeBron team we've ever seen.
Yes.
Especially if they, yes. Yeah. There's nothing around.
It's certainly the deepest. Well, maybe not the top end talent, but
we have 2 more years before Bronny Jr. comes into the league, and he said he's going to go. Bronny Jr. goes.
Now, the problem with that is that that's going to be a bad team because the way that Bronny Jr. thing is going to work is going to be crazy. I don't care how good of a scout or athlete or whatever he is. He's going to go number 1 overall because you're going to get LeBron.
Right. So automatically that makes whatever team Bronny James go to a title contender.
Yeah, shout out to the Magic.
Hey, LeBron would love Florida.
Cole Anthony's
going to
win.
Tax.
Cole Anthony's going to win Finals MVP because they got to draft Bronny Jr.
And one of the Wagner brothers is going to be 6th man of the year.
True.
Shout out Bamba.
No,
Shout out Markel.
I know we're kind of overreacting here. I do think LeBron winds up staying in LA until his son gets in the league, just to not do this again until that happens, which is fine. But if he is going to leave,
the rest of the team just has to get blown up. Personnel for the coaches has to just get revamped. Throw everything away.
Go.
Westbrook, Carmelo, Trevor Ariza, Ellington.
This is a hot take too. I wouldn't
Dwight
even be mad
Howard.
if they traded Anthony Davis. I wouldn't. I wouldn't even be mad at it.
Look, you know what we're talking about with this Lakers team? We're talking about a team that was great 5 years ago with the names you just mentioned.
Yeah, and I mean,
they're all past their prime.
Anthony Davis isn't, but he can't stay on the court.
He can't stay healthy.
He can't stay healthy.
So do you want to bank on another year?
You mentioned past their prime, but Carmelo and LeBron this season are, I think, 1 and 3 for most points per game for somebody over the age of 39 in a season.
Amazing.
Cool little tidbit. I mean, that's an old age, obviously, but like LeBron.
I was going to say 39 is not exactly young.
I mean, LeBron's averaging 30-something. And then
LeBron's leading the league in points per game.
Yeah, he's leading the league in scoring. And then Melo's at like 14 or something. I don't remember. It was 13 or 14 per game, so pretty cool.
Let me ask you this then. Probably 2 of widely regarded some of the greatest athletes of all time. But who has a longer and better prime? Tom Brady or LeBron James?
LeBron. In terms of actual ability and talent, it's LeBron. In terms of winning, it's Brady.
Yeah.
LeBron's scoring 33 a game and leading the league as a, what? How old is he? I don't remember. He's in his 19th year. He's 37 or 38. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, this is a much more demanding sport physically for his type of position because Brady's not getting hit that much. He's not a running back. He's not a lineman.
Yeah, Brady's not running that much.
Yeah, like LeBron's
as long as he takes care of his arm.
You mean me and every other Tampa Bay sports fan who, as soon as we see Brady roll out of the pocket,
your heart stops? Yeah, yes. Literally. And, Brady's a better all-time greatness. I think Brady's the best team athlete of all time in terms of greatness, but LeBron's better at this age. He just is.
So are you LeBron greatest basketball player of all time?
Yeah. Or best. Yeah. Not greatest, because I do separate the two. Best, yes.
Fair.
Yeah. Just it's hard to say he's the greatest when MJ literally never lost in the finals, and I hate that argument, but like greatness is, accolades and everything kind of mixed together. But LeBron's the best player we've ever seen. He just is. There's nobody in the history of this league or ever going to be in the history of this league that will score 30 and lead the league in scoring at this age. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, nobody can do what LeBron can do, especially just from when he first got into the league. Like, you were literally poised and set out to be the greatest player ever at 19 years old.
And he did it.
At 19 years old, out of high school, people are saying, you're the next everything. You're going to be the face of the league. You're going to be the best of all time. And he did it. And he did it. Nobody else was ever going to do that.
He's a 1 in a million player.
Exactly.
Yeah. More than that. More than a million. That's the crazy thing. Way more than a million. One in a couple 100 million. Because
that's the thing. With Jordan, I understand all that. But we saw another Jordan. We saw Kobe. Kobe is just Jordan 2.0.
The worst, but Jordan 2.0, yeah.
But again, of course, the copy, you miss a few things. That's fine. But you saw another Jordan.
Yeah, let me change a couple. Let me change a couple things.
You saw another Jordan. You're not going to see another LeBron.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
So
unless Luka has a 20-year career.
But that's the thing. Even with Luka, Luka's not out here just yamming on people, dominating like that.
He's not the athlete.
Luka's great. I love Luka.
I don't want to say...
Let him go get me a triple-double. Go ahead. Let him pull out. Do all that.
He's not
I don't want to say you're right.
He's not LeBron.
Right?
He's not LeBron.
Dude, it's crazy the things he's doing. It's crazy.
Oh.
Every time I look at the points leaderboards and I see him at the top, this is, I think, the first time in his career he's going to lead the league in points. The first time in his career he's going to lead the league in points. I don't know how this devolved into a LeBron conversation. But
yeah, and don't get me started on NBA talent because I love it.
It's so much fun.
Don't get me started on that.
You guys know the hills I die on.
Yeah, let's hit a little bit of baseball real quick. Nothing too crazy to talk about because it's still spring training.
Yeah.
But how do you guys feel having it back?
What do you mean nothing too crazy to talk about? What about friend of the pod, Richie Martin, baby?
This is true. Shout out our boy Richie Martin, leading the league with 9 RBIs in spring training, up there with Ryan Fitzgerald and Yuli Gurriel.
Yeah.
Who?
Hey, Yuli, hey, don't hate on Yuli.
Yeah, don't sleep on Yuli.
Don't sleep on Yuli.
Fitzgerald. But Richie, that's the only name that matters.
That's the only name that matters. Shout out to Richie. I know it's spring training. None of it really counts, but it's cool to see your boys doing well. So shout out to you, Richie.
Especially when he's batting 500, 5 for 10. You love it.
And he should be playing this year for the Orioles too. So carry it over.
I mean, going back to the question at hand. I mean, you're excited that baseball is back, obviously. Sorry, hold on.
He's getting through a little illness over here.
Getting through a little something.
He's still on the pod, though. He's still on the pod. He's trooping.
We still drive. But, I mean, I think for me, every fan overreacts at some point during spring training. And me being a Rays fan, I am trying not to overreact right now at the fact that they've only won 1 game in spring training. The fact of the matter is the things I've looked for them to do, they've done. Their prospects are looking really good. The pitching is looking pretty good. The minor league guys who I'm not expecting shit out of, they're the ones giving up the runs. But
yeah,
defensively, we're looking strong. And I think right now it's just conditioning, making sure we're ready for the season.
And I love that you mentioned the overreactions because me and Ju have been overreacting about the Yankees since the season ended last year and have just been getting progressively worse. And I went to a game Sunday against the Pirates for the Yankee spring training, and that game got me so hyped. And we're just going to win the World Series now. We're just going to win the World Series now because Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs.
Got Yoka went deep. Tucker hit one?
Cole Tucker went deep. A couple other Pirates. Josh Donaldson with a leadoff home run to kick it all off.
Yo, I didn't realize Vanessa Hudgens' boyfriend had that kind of pop in him, especially against Gary.
Yeah, I got beef with Cole Tucker because I love me some Vanessa Hudgens, but
And that man's got some elite flow. He's got some elite baseball flow.
He has some great lettuce.
Hey, Cole.
Cole
Tucker's one of the best players on that Pirate team. So
that's the
that isn't saying much.
That's saddest thing.
Shout out Brian.
Brian Hayes did not play Sunday.
But no, Brooklyn's right. I mean, we've been overreacting, and then we had a conversation on like Saturday or Sunday, and I was like, dude, I know we've been kind of freaking out about this offseason, but if you look at the beginning of last season, the roster that we had, and then look at the beginning of this season, the roster we have, we replaced Jay Bruce with Anthony Rizzo, replaced Gio Urshela with Josh Donaldson, and we replaced Clint Frazier with Joey Gallo. If those aren't just immediate upgrades, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
My thing is especially with that Yankees team and being an AL East guy and obviously loving baseball as much as I do, my question is going to come down to, can they stay healthy? Which is the question you ask yourself.
I don't see why they can't. They did
every season.
I don't see why they can't.
And I also don't know if the pitching is there. The back end. The back end.
Best bullpen in baseball. So,
and you get a whole offseason, and season of Luis Severino. So now we have 2 aces. Luis Severino was our ace at one point. So we got him and Cole out there. He was a top 10 pitcher
in baseball at one point.
Yeah. But my question is, a lot of these guys we're talking, yes, they were good last season for the X amount of games they played. Can they do it over a full 162, which is the question that every team asks?
I mean, I'll ask that same question about Shane Baz, who's pitched, 5 games at the MLB level. He's getting the most hype of anybody ever. People are saying he might be a Cy Young candidate.
Yeah. And I mean, if we're going to talk about, if they're able to stay on the field and are they going to be healthy, my 2 World Series predictions for possibly winning the whole thing are the Mets and the Dodgers. Are they going to stay healthy? Same things. Their teams are stacked. I take them over the Yankees.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, and here's the one thing I'm going to say about, and you guys are going to hate that I'm going to say this, but as a Rays fan, we have more depth than any team in baseball right now.
Don't care.
Than any team in baseball?
You look at the minor leagues and what the Rays have in MLB ready.
I don't care about the minor leagues.
That's where the depth comes from.
The Dodgers?
What farm system do they have?
They have Michael Bush at second base. They're looking good.
Look at what they have now. They don't need the farm system. We're not talking about hypotheticals about what the farm is going to do for you this season.
No, but here's my thing. On the field. Correct, but if the Rays go down with an injury, great. I can pick up the phone and call, and I've got oodles of prospects that I can go trade to make a trade that I need to make. They showed they were willing to do that with Nelson Cruz last year. I can call up one of my guys like they did with Bronco and him play well.
Here's the thing. You're picking up the phone, they pulling out their wallet. They going to go buy somebody. Yeah. They're not going to dip into the minors. They're going to go make a trade. They're going to go get somebody.
If the Padres are one game back at the deadline, they're going to go and just, all right, here's Campusano, whatever his last name is, the catcher, and we're going to give you all the money in the world and give us whatever position of need we need.
Like, you guys are going to call up.
I think y'all are sleeping on what the Rays can do.
Franco, Randy Arozarena 2.0, 3.0. Like, you guys are going to go do that. You guys aren't going to go spend money because the Rays don't spend money, and that's your guys' problem.
Hey, they're better than the A's.
They're better than the A's. Shout out. I love the Rays for that.
Rays over
A's.
20 second in spending, baby. 20 second in spending.
I love it.
Hey, I love it too. Don't get me wrong.
But that's your guys' downfall, and that's why the Rays are never going to do anything past making it to their World Series every 10, 15 years. That's it.
That one hurt.
Go into the playoffs and getting knocked out.
That was passionate.
Unless you guys do something outside of that and want to keep your players or go be aggressive in the market, you guys aren't going to do nothing.
We showed the aggression in the market this offseason. We showed that aggression. We showed that we're willing to shell out money.
Getting Corey Kluber?
You want to know what our offer to Freddie Freeman was?
He's not on the team.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No. They offered the same money as the Dodgers. He's a Southern Cowboy. He wanted to go back to California.
And do you blame him? Do you blame him?
Huh?
Do you blame him?
I do, because Florida, no state income tax, a much nicer area. You get to play with a younger core than you do with the Dodgers. I mean, plus when they build that new stadium in Tampa, it's going to be beautiful.
When? What new stadium? When?
No, he lost me. He had me. He had me, and he lost me.
Freeman's going to be retired by the time that stadium gets built.
Freddie's going to be in a retirement home.
You see this beard? This is going to be gray by the time that stadium is built.
It already is getting gray, so no need to worry about that.
Don't talk to me about that. I know. I found
it. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to get a passport to watch a Rays game by the time that happens.
The Spectators are gonna have 7 different shows by the time that happens.
That's true. Shout out to Nico and Gerard.
Hey, but overall, I think the AL East is going to be an exciting division to watch.
It is
because you've got 4 teams who are going to title chase. Yes. You got the Rays, you got the Yankees, you got the Jays, you get the Red Sox. The only team are going to be the bum ass Orioles who are competing for the number 1 pick.
And I think they're going to be better too. And I think they're going to be at least like half competitive this year. They won't be the worst team in the AL.
But they're going to play spoilers to a lot of teams. The Orioles love to play spoiler ball down the stretch.
Usually not to the Yankees. Last year was a weird one. They beat us a handful of times last year. That's like the first time ever.
I hope we get Baltimore Glaber back this year.
Is that the best player in baseball?
Yes.
Here's my question. What did the Yankees do with DJ LeMahieu?
Say his name again.
Yeah, what was his name?
DJ LeMahieu.
They pay him his money and they leave him alone.
I think DJ will have a great year this year because there's no way that you have that bad of a season again.
Though?
Here, he's gonna have a great year riding his butt on the bench. He's gonna have butt bruises at the end of the year.
Where's he gonna play? Because if Glaber is playing well, where's he gonna play?
I mean, we just give everybody their day off every couple of days.
Okay,
slide DJ in.
It's gonna be really cool when the Yankees just decide to give up on Hicks and then Gleyber's our DH, and that's cool. I can get down to that.
So you're telling me you want Stanton's bum defense in the outfield?
Stanton's better than every defender on the Rays not named Kevin Kiermaier, so yes. Defensively.
You are wrong. You are fat wrong.
Yes.
I'll take a Rosarena.
Stinks in left field.
Hold on. Let's pull the stats. Let's go to the tape.
Bad.
Let's go to the tape, shall we?
While you're looking that up, Giancarlo has shown that his defense is not as bad as everybody has said it is.
He's just in the bottom 18 percentile of run speed, that's all.
Yeah. And now he might look like he's going to drop every ball that's hit to him. That's fine, but he makes a catch. He's made some really nice catches out there in left field.
He was a good outfielder in Miami, too. He got a lot of flack for no reason. He was like a good fielder. I never understood the Stanton hate. He's like an athlete. Not anymore, but he was like an athlete.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. I've seen Gallows taking reps in center, which is kind of awesome.
Look, Joey Gallo's a Gold Glove defender.
I know. I want him in center field. They're Stanton in left. I don't care what happens in left field.
Let's go down the field.
Remember when we used to watch Juan Soto play left? That was terrible. Now he's good, but Nelson Cruz played the outfield for a decade. How, Sway? How, Sway?
Shout out to MLB The Show coming out this weekend, because if you get Nelson Cruz, do not put him in the outfield.
No, we don't know. We don't know if we can DH him yet.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the DH.
Put him on the bench bat. Yeah, bench bat.
That three fielding is not going to do anything for you. Dude, 3 fielding with 5 speed.
He has like 20 speed and it's like 52 fielding, and he plays worse than that somehow. It's crazy.
It's bad.
It's like, all right, we pulling it up now.
Oh, he got defensive stats?
I do have defensive stats.
See, guys, we love defense on this podcast. If you guys didn't know that, we love defense. Big defensive guys.
All right. Giancarlo Stanton in the field is... Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up.
He's got to be better than Clint Frazier, right?
Well, everyone's better than Clint Frazier.
I'm just making sure. I'm asking Brooklyn here. Like, he's got to be a better outfielder than Clint and Andujar.
You know, they didn't have Clint's cat, so
true.
They're worse.
This is true. Yeah. He
Yeah.
also doesn't have quite as cool of a nickname.
His fielding in 2021
in like 10 games. I think he played like 14 games, maybe.
He had 10 games, 70 innings. In left field.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also played a few in right field.
Yeah.
We just want left.
He
had a whopping.
He gave me the left field.
1 defensive run save and a negative 9.1.
I didn't hear that last part.
You cut out at the end.
Oh, he had a negative 9.1 UZR. That's not good.
It's like the modern defensive stat, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Randy Arozarena in left field. In left field. Okay? We're going in left field for you guys. Randy Arozarena last season in left field had an 8 defensive runs saved and a 4.4 UZR.
Wow, it almost sounds like he's not that good defensively.
He's better than Giancarlo Stanton was what you were trying to say.
In a short sample size, I'm taking Stanton's bat and his moderately worse defense, because it's moderate.
I take a Arozarena.
I mean, of course you do.
You think Randy's a better player, though, and that's a terrible take, so...
I didn't say that. I just said
I know you think
Randy.
that, though. I know you think that, though. I know you think Randy's better than Stanton, and it's just wrong.
Say he's wrong. Say he's wrong, Aiden. Say he's wrong.
I think Randy is a better player. I think he is.
Such a bad take. It's such a bad take.
So we actually have 2 Nikos on the pod now.
Yeah, we got 2 Nikos, bro. They're the same.
We love them, but we got 2 Nikos. They're both Rays fans.
No, but here's my thing. I admit when I'm wrong.
It's something in the water, Rick. It's something in the water.
I admit when I'm wrong.
You know, growth. We love it.
I admit when I'm wrong. I think overall the Yankee outfield is better than the Rays outfield. I think overall
I don't care about that. I want this clip of Stanton and Arozarena. I want this because you said Rosarena is better. And when Stanton hits 46 home runs this year with a 162 weighted runs created, like he almost did last year, it's gonna get wicked.
So hitting is the only thing that matters to you.
Hitting is the only thing that matters to me. Yeah, in a left fielder, yes. And
can the man get on base?
Primary DH.
Can he get on base?
He was like a
he'll actually go around
on
all
base
the bases.
percentage last year, so yeah.
He'll go around all the bases.
He's a better hitter in every sense of the word, and a marginally worse fielder. I like this debate though.
I do too. It's fun.
I like Randy Arozarena.
I love Randy.
He's like barely.
He's my favorite playoff player ever.
Yeah, it's true. Factual.
Mine's Michael Brasso, but that's just because he did it off Chapman.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Well, once we get the Brasso Chapman talk, that's enough.
No Bumgarner hype for playoff guys.
I found the Achilles heel. of the pod. No. Just started mentioning Michael Brasso taking 102 deep in San Diego.
I'll bring up some Red Sox players from last year. We'll have a good time.
Don't do that to me now. Don't do that to me now.
We'll have a good time. But,
no, the one player you can mention to me that I will like hate is Brad Lidge. Never mention that man to me ever. Never.
I think, don't you mean the entire Phillies organization?
But specifically Brad Lidge. Just that man rubs me the wrong way.
Do you like Chase Utley? Are you an Utley guy?
Oh, I think he's a dirty player, but I admired him growing second base until I moved to catcher.
Who won MVP for that World Series? Was it Holiday?
I think it was Howard.
Really?
The Yankees beat the Phillies the very next year, so
swapped them.
Oh, so any Rays Yankee talk there? You got anything for that?
That's crazy.
No, you guys had a good year that year,
dude. The Phillies were so good too.
Take us away, Drew.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I hope you appreciated it. Welcome to Aiden. As you can tell, he has a lot of different takes than us, and he brings some spice. Look out for some stuff coming out for him in the future because we have some really cool plans going on over there. Make sure you follow us at _ Spectators on all socials, including Instagram, despite me changing the @name for a couple of hours the other day.
L plus Posio plus ratio.
If you didn't see it, good.
If you didn't see it, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And that's what we love to see. Yeah, make sure you go follow us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. Be on the lookout for another episode next week. And we have an Unplugged coming out later this week, I believe.
We have a lot of video.
We have a vlog coming out. We have a vlog coming out later this week. Like Brooklyn said, he went to the Yankee game, so be on the lookout for that. He got Judge's home run on camera. Kind of sick. So thank you guys again.
This man turning into Zach Hampel out here. Jeez.
Later, everybody.
Peace.